Hello champions and future champions, hello ChessMood family. Gabuzyan is here with you and we're beginning with our daily lesson. In this position that you are seeing on the board, it's white to move. Before revealing you the topic of today's daily lesson, I will just ask you guys, please pause the video and think about your actions as white here. If you pay a close attention to pawn structure, regardless that black is having 4 pawns on the queen side versus 3 of ours, we are having an option to create a passed pawn, especially at the edge of the board, beginning with b4 move in this position. Since our pawn on f5 is hanging, it's really reasonable for black to take it. And now we're just going a4. Using this pawn structure, we're just playing b4, a4, and going for a5. As well, we're using the fact that black king is weakened, so black cannot be throwing all the pieces against this passed pawn, since we're gonna get a very nice counterplay. And we're using this. Here if black is trying to go rook a8 in order to stop a5, this doesn't make sense, as we're able to play a5, takes, and if after takes and takes black is deciding to take this pawn, we're having queen c3 check, just taking the rook. Since e5 square is covered with the bishop, black is not having this move. So, for this reason after a4, black is trying to play knight f6, activating the knight, but white is having a very nice advantage after a5, pawn takes, b takes a5, rook c5 and queen a4, and we're just advancing, rook a8, pawn to a6. We created a very strong passed pawn, soon we will be trying to play a7, bringing another rook to b8 square. If black is switching all the pieces to the queen side, we can use the e-file and try to bother opponent's king. Once again, at the beginning, in a quiet position, white is just trying to create a passed pawn and get a very nice game. As well, let me mention that after b4, if black is trying to play rook a4, white has another very strong move, which is queen c3 check, knight f6, and now f4. Using the fact this rook is super far, white is just weakening black's king's position, will be activating next rook, and with this weakened king and few pieces, black will not be able to survive this attack here as well. So guys, we have seen how strong was the beginning before with the a4 idea. Let's now go ahead to see our next example in this topic. In this position is white to move. Last move of black was knight from a4 to c3. White is having an extra pawn, but it's fixed on a2 square, and knight on c3 is also very strong. So black will have good chances for the counterplay if we're not finding the best continuation. You can pause the video guys and try to find it. We are using the fact that pawn on b4 is stick to the knight's protection. So we're just able to play a4, very importantly creating a passed pawn. Of course, black cannot be taking, we're just taking on c3 and easily stopping this pawn if they are trying to promote it. For this reason, after a4, black is not able to do anything but to remove the queen, and now we have the same position, but instead of a2, pawn is already on a4. Which is a very big difference. Here, white could have played a5 and a6 as well. In the game it has happened king g2, queen c1 and now a5, queen a1 and a6. White, in a few moves from a2, advanced the pawn to a6. You can instantly see the difference and benefits of this strong maneuver. Now, rook f8, and after knight e5, white's position is absolutely winning. White is gonna go with this knight to d7, try to place this queen on d4, creating a7 threats as well knight f6 threats, and black can be doing nothing about this. So with the beginning, very simple a4 move, white is instantly getting a winning position guys. Let's go ahead to see the next one. Dear champions, now we're having our next example. It's black to move, pawn structure is with a very little difference, which will make a lot of sense. So it's black to move. You can pause the video and think about your actions in this position. As I mentioned, pawn structure is little different. Our pawn is on the A file, meanwhile white is on the C file, which means we're able to play here A5. Very simply, creating a passed pawn. As I mentioned previously, Bishops are great supporters for the passed pawns. Even located too far, they are helping it to get advanced. Here it's happening knight e3, a4, takes. Here white can try to play knight d5, but we're just taking, takes, going queen c5 to prevent d6 and as well prevent bishop a3, so we're going to take and having a way better position for black. If at this moment white is trying to go bishop a3, queen e6 is leading to a slightly better position again for black. This pawn is under attack, our pawn is much stronger than the pawn on c3. Also here, instead of going queen to e6, black has a very strange but at the same time interesting option. Take on a3, rook a3 and bishop takes. Idea is to play bishop b2 and try to play a3 and a2. Of course, it's a little bit tricky option, but deserves some attention. So, for all of these reasons, after b takes a4 move in this position, white is deciding to go c4. Idea is white will try to go knight d5 at some moment and create a passed pawn with the c pawn, but it's gonna be too late and black's game is much faster. It's happening now a3, bishop c3 and a very nice bishop a4 move. Idea is to trade off this bishop and then we will get with our rook a very nice square on a4 when it's making a huge pressure on white pawns. Also, if required, we will be able to double up in order to advance this pawn on a3. So, b takes a4, rook takes a4, rook db1. If instead of rook db1 in this position, white is trying to go knight d5, we're just able to take, c takes d5 and again our passed pawn is much stronger. There are several good moves here as black, but the most I like is a very strange queen f6 move. Now we want to trade off the queens and bishop will be hanging. As well, pawn on e4 will be under attack. As well, this bishop will have no much good squares to go back. Let's say on d2 or a1 it will be completely out of the game. So in this way, black was getting advantage here, and as I mentioned, after rook db1 in this position, queen e6 is enough to have again a great advantage. Our passed pawn is exponentially stronger than the pawn on c4, which is a huge weakness. So it's a big positional advantage. We have seen, guys, several examples how one of the sides having some options, especially in pawn structure, is using it and trying to create a passed pawn, which is bringing a lot of value. You have seen how this works. Now, let's go ahead to the next position, which will be your homework for this topic. At this moment, it's black to move. You can be sharing your thoughts and ideas how to create a passed pawn here in the comments section below. Gabuzyan was here with you. Thank you for your subscriptions, likes, and sharing this video with your friends. We appreciate it a lot. See you next time during our next daily lessons.